For today's class, we will be covering the topic cell biology, which we will cover of 9 to 12th classes, and it will be useful for all the competitive exams like NEET, PMT, or CSI and NET. In cell biology, we will first cover the introduction part of it, where cell theory will be discussing and what discoveries which scientists discovered first time cells. Then we will see differences between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, plant cell and animal cell differences, the cell organelles present inside the cell and their functions. Then these are the cell organelles present inside the cell and their functions we will be covering. Ribosomes, lysosomes, vacuole, plastids, which organelle is present inside plant cell and animal cell, we will see the differences of them. Then we will cover the cell cycle part of it, how cell undergo reductional or equational division, and these are the two processes, these regulate cell cycle inside all living organisms. With that, we will be covering the diagrams part of it and also the MCQs that come in competitive exams. Starting with cells and the definition part of it. So it is defined as the smallest and the basic unit of life that is responsible for all life processes. Now, as they are structural and functional biological units of all living beings, they can replicate itself and they are not dependent on another unit. So they are independent on its own. So they are also known as the building blocks of life. Before going to the definition part of it, we will see how cells were discovered. So we will first cover the history part of it. In history, we will see the discovery part, where for the first time, when in 1665, a scientist named Robert Hooke first discovered these cells in a slice of cork, where he named these minute compartments a little room, which in Latin termed as cells. Then another scientist named as Leeuwenhoek, Anton van Leeuwenhoek, observed cells under a compound microscope. He observed living cells which was having a higher magnification power. Living cells of pond water. This discovery was made with a primitive microscope. Then later on, another Scottish botanist, named as Robert Brown, in 1883 observed the first insights of a cell structure, and he was able to describe nucleus which is present inside the cells, or he observed cells of orchids. So after the discovery part of it, we will see the characteristics and the cell theory which was given. So the cell theory was given by mainly two scientists named as Schleiden and Swan, two biologists who gave two theories that all organisms are made up of cells, and the cell is the basic unit of life in all living things. These two were basically postulations, means still not a fact, but later on expanded by another scientist named as Virchow, who said that all cells come from pre-existing cells, means cells which are already present, they are dividing and giving new cells, so they are basically immortal. After this, we will discuss the types of cells on the basis of number. Basis was number of cells and also their type, means pro means primitive kind of cell, means the cells which were first ancient cell that were observed. Eukaryotic means new cell. U means new. So the differences were made on basis of the organelles and whether they have common features or not. So all cells, whether they are prokaryotic means old type or new eukaryotic cells, they have some common features. Common which are present in these are plasma membrane, which is the outer layer present for the structure and stability of a cell. Cytoplasm, which is present inside the fluid present inside the cell. Now it is the membrane which comprises all the membrane bound organelles and also the present inside the cytoplasm. Then DNA, which is a genetic material always present in all types of cell. Nuclear region, nucleus, which is the monitor, and also the ribosomes which make proteins. Their sizes are also very important. 0.1 to 10 micron to 10 to 100 micron are sizes difference of prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. So till now what we have covered is that cell provides structure and support to the body of an organism, and the cell interior is organized in different individual organelles surrounded by a separate membrane. The nucleus holds the genetic information, means the DNA is present inside the nucleus. So cells have similar properties to different properties depending on the type of labor they are doing. Now various types of cells perform different functions, and on the basis of that only they are divided into prokaryotic or eukaryotic. We first notice that in prokaryotic cells they don't have nucleus, means the nucleus part is only present inside eukaryotic cells. So the main feature which makes the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell is the nucleus. Nucleus is well defined inside a eukaryotic cell. Prokaryotic cell, like bacteria, have a region within the cell where genetic material is freely suspended. So this region is called a nucleate region. It is not present inside a eukaryotic cell but a prokaryotic cell. So the nucleate region is present inside only a prokaryotic cell. They all are single cell microorganisms. All the prokaryotic cells are single cell, means single cell is independent to live on its own. They include all the archaebacteria and other cyanobacteria. Their sizes are given in this diagram. Hereditary material means which is getting hereditary. It is DNA or RNA in anything. Prokaryotes generally reproduce by binary fission, a form of a sexual reproduction. So they divide by binary fission. And eukaryotic, we all know, it undergo sexual reproduction to divide, which we will see later on. Now coming to the organelles part of it, they are structures that enable the cell to live, grow and reproduce. In in organelles we see plasma membrane is the first and foremost outer layer which is present for its stability and mobility. Mitochondria, centriole, vacuole, lysosome, cytoplasm, SER, RER and other Golgi bodies, ribosomes and nucleus. Two types of cells we have seen till now. Prokaryotics, they have no membrane covered nucleus, so they don't have a well defined nucleus inside them. They don't have any membrane covered organelle. They have circular DNA. Their DNA is circular. Examples are bacteria, cyanobacteria or archaebacteria. Their diagram are given here, which is a typical rod-shaped bacterium, and this one is Bacillus coagulans, which is also a type of bacteria. Eukaryotic cells, they have a well-defined nucleus and have a membrane covered organelles. Their organelles are also covered by a membrane. They have a linear DNA, are all other cells, means all human beings, animals, plants, they have a eukaryotic, means true cell. First cell organelle that we will see is the cell membrane. It supports and protects the cell. It controls the movement of substances in and out of the cell because it is the outer layer, and also separates the cell from external environment. The cell membrane is present in all the cells. It is the outer covering, right? So it is also known as the plasma membrane. Structure wise, it is porous, means it has tiny pores on it which allow entry or exit, means it is a gate into the city, entry or exit inside and outside of the cell. But still it is selective permeable, means it does not allow all the substances to come in and out of the cell, means it is selectively permeable. This cell membrane also protects the cellular component from damage and leakage. So it is a wall-like structure between two types of cells. But in animal cells where it is mobile, in plant cells it is immobile. In plant cells, cell membrane is immobile. So they are well protected from outer environment. Next is cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is a thick, clear, jelly-like fluid which is present inside all the cell. It is present inside the cell membrane, and most of the chemical reactions that takes place are mostly in the cytoplasm of it. It is a fluid present inside the cell. The cell organelles such as RER, vacuoles, mitochondria, ribosomes are all suspended in the cytoplasm. Then we see nucleus, which is the control center of the cell. It contains the hereditary and genetic material of the cell, which is the DNA. It sends signals to the cell to grow, mature, divide, and then die. The nucleus is surrounded by nuclear envelope, which is also known as nuclear membrane, and it separates DNA from the rest of the cell. Means DNA is present only in this part of the nucleus and nowhere else. The nucleus protects the DNA, and it is an integral component of a plant cell structure. Now that we have covered these main, then we go to the mitochondria, which is also the powerhouse of the cell. Why? Because it generates the currency of the cell, which is in the form of ATP. The cell's energy currency it is. It provides the energy the cell needs to move, divide, etc. It is basically electrical company of the cell. It has also outer membrane, inner membrane, and inside a substance is present which is known as matrix. Now we see ribosomes. So ribosomes are the site where proteins are made, and cell parts are made up of proteins. So these are basically protein factories of the cell. Translation, we will see a process where proteins are made from the DNA, which we have seen inside the nucleus. From DNA, proteins are made. Then endoplasmic reticulum. It is the organelle where ribosomes are attached. So it is present for transportation system of cell. Rough RER ribosomes are attached, where there are two types of endoplasmic reticulum. One is rough and one is smooth. RER is where ribosomes are present, and smooth where no ribosomes are there. So basically it is the roadways of the cell, because from here all the proteins are getting attached and getting transported to their last destination, whether they are supposed to go inside the cell, outside the cell, or stay in the cytoplasm. Next is the Golgi complex. So it is basically a packaging house of the cell, where proteins get packaged and processed and get shipped out the cell which the cell is making. So basically it is the UPS of the cell. Lysosomes. So lysosomes are also known as the suicidal bags. Why? Because they digest food particles and cell parts. Garbage men. Protect cell by digesting foreign invaders. So they are also known as policemen. Next we see vacuoles. So vacuoles are basically a storehouse where storage of water, food and waste is done. It is large in plant cells. So plant cell, it is large because it is supposed to store water, and in animal cell it is comparatively smaller. Then cell wall. In plant cell wall it is very rigid structure and only present in plant cells and also protects and supports the cell. Chloroplasts, which are basically seen only in plant cell, so they are responsible to contain chlorophyll, which makes plants green. So green color is provided by these organelles. It is the place where photosynthesis takes place in plant cells. Now we have seen both plant and animal cells, so these are the differences present. In plant and animal cells, nucleus, Golgi, mitochondria, lysosomes, endoplasmic reticulum, cell membrane, ribosomes, vacuoles. But only in plant cells we have chloroplast and cell wall. So next we will cover other in depth the cell organelles functions in next chapter. Thank you.